Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be somewhat of a different little unique style. Today I'm going to be sharing 8 things to remember when you are decorating your island. These 8 things are going to be kind of obvious, but you would be surprised to see how many people don't really think about these when they decorate their island. So I really hope this comes to you in somewhat of a helpful way, and I really hope you enjoy. So coming in at number 1, it is completely fine to mess up. You are human, you are allowed to change your mind on something. If you don't like the way it looks, go ahead and change it instead of just waiting and hating it the whole time. That goes along with this, it is completely fine if you don't like your island and you just decide to destroy it, because I've done that so many times and I find it helps a lot to completely destroy it instead of restarting the game and just start from scratch, and I ended up feeling so much better in the long run. And for number 2, just remember that decorating is really difficult and it's a lot harder than it looks. You see so many people on YouTube or Instagram, social media, you see them act like it's like the easiest thing in the world and they just like get their island done in like a week. But in reality, they put so much time and effort into it and just end up cutting or editing most of it out. So I would keep that in mind instead of putting yourself down for not wanting to finish so early, because it's not a huge deal if you're not as fast as everyone else, because I guarantee you they're taking just as much time as you. And it's also, honestly, the longer it takes, I feel like the more experience you can get from the game instead of burning yourself out. I'll be talking about burnout later in the video, but it's super important that you forgive yourself for taking longer than you originally anticipated, because island decorating is a lot harder than it sounds. And that also goes along with tip number 3. Remember to decorate with your personal touch, because I feel like it's not as special if you don't put something that personally attaches to you, whether that be a specific color of flower, a specific design that you're proud of, or any specific furniture that has sentimental value. I think it's really important to add that kind of stuff to your island to make it more like it's actually designed for you, because I feel like if people didn't do that, Animal Crossing, everyone's island would just look the same. And I think what we're trying to do here is kind of make everyone's island their own personal style and personal touch. So it's really important to remember to do that. You don't necessarily have to, but I think it's really nice to just like be proud of yourself because you actually put something in that's not someone else's work or not from someone else doing it for you, you know what I mean? And then tip number 4 is that there is so much inspiration out there. A lot of people already knew this, but going on either Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, any social media platform, even Twitter, there is so much inspiration for your island. So if you're having a really hard time decorating or finding what style you want to do, you can just easily go on any of the social medias, just look up Animal Crossing, and you should be able to find quite a few things there. There's also, if there's not a theme that you want to work on, maybe you can start a social media and like share what you want to do, because what's really nice is that not only do you have the access to like look at other people's stuff, you can also share your own stuff. So like if you want to just put out there that you have a specific, like say Forest Core Island, you can put it out there if you wanted to. Yeah, so inspiration is everywhere. Never give up. If like, don't say that you're lacking inspiration. There is so much out there, and I doubt you've seen all of it. So this next tip is to remember to use your Nintendo Online subscription. For people who don't know, Nintendo Online is a monthly paid subscription to access a bunch of different features in Animal Crossing, and one of those is MA codes and custom designs. So in your Able Sisters or on your Nook phone, you can access a whole portal of custom design patterns. You can find MA codes all over everywhere on like any of the social media platforms I've already mentioned. And for people who don't have Nintendo Online, they can't access that kind of stuff, but don't worry, there are ways to do it without Nintendo Online, and I will be putting out a video very soon on how to make your own custom design patterns not using Nintendo Online. There are plenty of ways to do it. It's a little bit more time consuming, but it's really nice for people who either can't afford it or just don't have it yet, so look out for that in the future. Tip number 6 is to remember to use glitches to your advantage. Not necessarily hacks in my opinion, but if you really need to, you can always use cliff trees, stunted trees, or even 4th tier decorating. They're really helpful in situations where you can't fit a tree in a specific place, or you can't find like the perfect place to put this waterfall, so you decide to just go up to the 4th tier. There are plenty of tutorials out there on how to do these. They're not too hard, and also I personally do not think that they are cheating. Some people do, but if you really feel like you need to, go ahead. I honestly think it really adds a lot to your island, and it honestly, I do it more than I thought I would, because when I first heard of it, I was like, oh, okay, there's like these weird hacks people are finding. Maybe it's like overrated and people are using it, but I honestly think they really do make your island look a lot better, because there are just certain things in Animal Crossing that we want to change. And one reason to make your island a little bit more different is by using these hacks. So go ahead and use those. Tip number 7 also requires Nintendo Online. Sorry for people who don't have it. Using Nookazon or any trading site of any shape or kind. These trading sites can be a little bit hard to use at first if you aren't necessarily the richest billionaire in Animal Crossing. But if you do have a few bells to spare, or even items, depending on what site you use, you can always go on Nookazon or Discord. There's also plenty of other sites like Turnip Exchange, where basically you can go to other people's islands or they can come to yours and you can trade them items. This could be anything from turnips to like exclusive items like the Sanrio cards. You could also trade money if you needed to. There's so much you can do there. I can't fit it all into one video, so I'll have those sites linked in the description as well. Go ahead, sign up for Nookazon. I would be very careful. I haven't come across with any scammers on Nookazon yet, but I've heard there are a few, so be mindful and remember to look at people's ratings. If they don't have like a 3-star up, I would not trust it, and I would either report it to Nookazon or just don't engage with them. So definitely be careful and ask for a parent's permission if you need some help. And number 8 is one thing to help with the most common problem, which I find is burnout. Number 8 is basically saying that you need to play Animal Crossing not like it's a job. You can't be like expecting yourself to log on every day, and you can't be like playing every single second of your time, because eventually you're gonna get tired and you're gonna get burnt out. I've had burnout several times, and it's really annoying because you feel like one week you're on top of it and you love everything with your island, and the next week you just don't even have the energy to get on. So I find some common solutions to that is to not really limit yourself, but be mindful of how much you're spending on your island or how fast you're decorating, because I feel like if you play a little bit too fast, you can very easily get burnt out, and then you're just like gonna have no motivation the next week. And like, don't be mad at yourself if you don't log on one day. There's always time travel for certain events. And there's so many other things you can do. There's plenty of other games to play other than just Animal Crossing. I'm not saying that you need to limit your time on Animal Crossing. I'm just saying that you need to be mindful, just in case you like overplay and you run out of stuff to do, because I find that was a very common problem I was hearing from. And those were my 8 tips. Some of these are kind of like obvious to some people, but I feel like this isn't that talked about, and I feel like people should be a little bit more aware that decorating your island is like kind of what Animal Crossing has become. It's not so much of a I log on every day to cut my trees down or plant some flowers. I feel like people are now using the game to like express their creativity in a way, and I think it's important to know some tips if you have just started decorating or you've been a decorator since the very beginning. I think it's kind of important to just remind them, restate them, or even just say them for the first time, that these are super important, because sometimes you kind of just need to like you just need to know. So that was basically it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'm really appreciating the support I've been getting recently. We are so close to 50 subs. I know it's not much, but I'm so happy. I did not expect my channel to get this far. I was like, at the beginning of starting YouTube, I told myself I would be patient and that I knew someday it would come, but I'm honestly like, I cannot believe that I've gotten this far without giving up, and I'm so happy. What goes along with that is please go follow my Instagram at sadbeancrossing on Instagram, and also remember to join my Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a really good day.